Good afternoon, super friend. It is I, Corey Leland. I'm going to do a top 10 favorite album ranking video today. This time from a band that I've loved since their second album came out way back in 1982. It must have been. Been a huge fan. I've seen them a couple times, at least in concert. Recently, I'm reading a book on them that I do highly recommend that you check out if you're a huge fan after you audio, of course. But the book that I've been reading is called Alternative Biography, and it's about R.E.M. Pretty big book with small letters, but I do love reading about bands I love, and R.E.M. is certainly one of those, and it's been that way for a long time. I'm only going to rank my top 10 favorite albums by them. Let's get started, shall we? I've got this deluxe edition of this one right here. It's called Up. It was the first album they made after their drummer quit, retired from the music business, Bill Berry. But Up has two great songs on it that I absolutely love. Day Sleeper and At My Most Beautiful, certainly one of their most beautiful songs. But really, other than those two, I mean, Lotus is pretty good. But other than that, it's not really an album I reach for, other than maybe to put on those two songs. And that's something about REM. As much as I love them, and on each album, there are generally at least two or often three songs that I really do love. But a lot of times there are other songs that I could kind of do without. Number nine, and the way I kind of do this is if I could only have one, this is how I start. If I could only have one REM album, what would it be? If I could only have two, what would that be? And that's kind of how I've done this. Number nine for me, it has two songs I absolutely love, and I recommend that you listen to if you've never heard Night Swimming and Find the River. The album is called Automatic for the People, and a lot of people know some of the hits like Man on the Moon, but I never really loved Man on the Moon. Sidewinder Sleeps Tonight is pretty good, but um, it's all right, but for me, it's kind of a little bit of a ignore land, wasteland in the middle of this one. Although, again, those last two songs really are great. But that's why it's my number nine. I know a lot of people think of it much higher than I do. Number eight for me, another album I've seen people rank much higher. But for me, and I really was looking forward to this one when it came out, and it had the huge hit the one I love. This one goes out to the one I love, but and it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine, which is obviously always timely and timeless. Other than that, though, finest work song, great opener, absolutely love that one. But other than finest work song and the end of the world as we know it, I don't love Document. I mean, I wish I did, but it's pretty strong. The reason it's ahead of the other two is because, Exhuming McCarthy, Welcome to the Occupation, they're good tunes. I mean, it's well recorded, but it's only number eight for me. Number eight. Number seven for me. The reason why this one, although the album as a whole for me is kind of on the weaker side, there are three songs on Reveal that I just absolutely adore, and there have been many times down through the years that I reach for this one just for All the Way to Reno. Imitation of Life is one of the best REM tunes ever. And I'll Take the Rain. Wow, for some reason I love I'll Take the Rain on Reveal. So on the strength of those three songs, even though I don't really listen to the rest of the album that much, I want to love it because those three songs are so good. But it's only number six for me, and yet it comes ahead of those other three, my top 10. So number six for me, and I love all these albums, and this one is a good listen top to bottom. I have some great times with this one playing in the background. Back in the day, REM Out of Time, which is a very spiritual, and if you watch any of my meditation spirituality videos, you know I'm a kind of a spiritual character, although there is no such thing as a spiritual person because people are people and spirit is spirit. Two worlds don't mix. But Out of Time, of course, has Losing My Religion. So a lot of people discovered them during Out of Time. But Shiny Happy People, I do like that song. And the thing about this one, radio song, I could do without the rap from KRS-One, but it's just top to bottom a good listen. I can put this one on and listen to the whole album, and that's why I've got it at my number 5 in my top 10 REM albums. I don't know if I mentioned it, I think I did. Good book. If you're a big fan of REM and you like to read, alternative biography. I didn't know it existed till recently. I'm just reading it now for the first time. My number 5 in my top 10 favorite REM albums used to be my favorite for many, 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 many years. Look, we're in 2025 right now, almost at the end of 25. First discovered this album when it came out. My roommate brought it home. But after listening to them all and really considering it, at this point, today, my number 5, their second album, Reckoning. Reckoning. I remember seeing them on David Letterman when they did the single from this, which was South Central Rain. I'm sorry. Remember that one? Harbor Coat, the opener, is great. Classic REM. There's some songs that are pretty good. Pretty Persuasion, pretty good. Pretty good, as Larry David would say. Seven Chinese Brothers. Do you remember that book? Are you old enough to remember the Banana Splits or the book Seven Chinese Brothers That Swallowed the Ocean? Well, R.E.M. has a song about it. Other than that, Don't Go Back to Rockville, a great song, and part of the reason why I loved this album the best out of all of them for so long. And also a song that was written, and you'll read about it in this book, when a friend of the band was driving in a car ahead of theirs on the highway, and died in a car accident. A woman that they knew was a photographer. A song called Camera, which I sang the first, I was taking a vocal um, class in college in Santa Barbara many, many, many years ago. And I had to do, as part of the class, I had to get up in front of the class and sing a song for the first time really in my life. Of course, I would go on to do that many, many times in my life, but I was nervous that morning, just almost choking on my cereal. I was so nervous, but I sang Camera. I learned it on the guitar, and I sang Camera in front of the class. It's a great tune. I love that one too. But for me, Reckoning, after all those years, it's only number 5. My number 4, and surprisingly enough, it just recently overtook Reckoning, and I like it better. It's just top to bottom, so creative and so beautiful. Murmur, their debut. Now the single, of course, the first single was Radio Free Europe, which is one of my least favorite songs on this album, believe it or not. But you just can't deny, for me, Pilgrimage, so cool and different from anything that I'd ever heard before. Laughing, Talk About the Passion, sang in a band back in college, along with Perfect Circle, we also did. But Sitting Still and Shaking Through, those two are so good. It really puts this one over and above how much I love Reckoning. Along with songs that are kind of good. I mean, even We Walk comes in and it's just a different sounding kind of track. Moral Kiosk is okay, but West of the Fields, not great. 9-9, not my favorite. But at this point, if I could only have 4 REM albums, boy, it'd be tough to keep this one over Reckoning, but I would. Number at the Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California, where the A's used to play, and was really buzzed. Back in those days, I drank. I've never been a huge drinker, but partying before the concert, and right before the concert started, I went to the men's room, standing in a long line of a bunch of lines of guys waiting to pee against a row of urinals against the wall. And I started singing. I haven't been singing much lately, but and the waves of conversation. At the time I was listening so much to REM, I was very much sounding like Michael Stipe, the lead singer. And Green saw this tour. Green, this was their first album they did for Warner Brothers when they left IRS, the label they had been with. Reason Green is my anyway. People start finish that story. I'm singing waves of conversation. Anyway, and it's reverberating in this like big stone bathroom. It's really buzzed, and I must have sounded quite a bit like him because I heard people saying, is he in here? Is he in here? Yeah, I kid you not. So Green, the first two tracks, Pop Song 89, Get Up, really good up-tempo numbers to start an album. And then the third song, You Are the Everything, really beautiful song. Stand was a cool little hit. I love bubblegum pop, and Stand was very bubblegumish. It even had, which was very, very rare for REM, kind of an official, almost little guitar solo, which Peter Buck played in Stand, with a wah-wah on it. So, I mean, that was really exciting for me at the time. Another tune I love on here, the song I was singing a little bit from Hair Shirt, but the last song is called Untitled. It doesn't have a title, but it's one of my favorite REM songs of all time. So, top to bottom, even though I'm not thrilled with the song most people like from here, Orange Crush or World Leader Pretend, don't particularly love those, but top to bottom, it's a strong album, and that's why it's my number 3 REM favorite in my top 10. Now, if I could only have two, it's a tough choice between these first two, but when it comes down to it, I love, love, love at least half of this album, but maybe I love a little bit more the one I've chosen at number 1, which you're probably figuring that once I tell you that my number 2 is their third album, Fables of the Reconstruction of the Fables, it's also listed as. And yeah, I saw this tour when it came out. I was really, really looking forward to this album. Oh my gosh, and I absolutely loved it. They opened with the opener when I saw them in concert, Feeling Gravity's Pull, which has that tritone, down, down, down. Actually, a tone that was outlawed way back, centuries ago by the Catholic Church because it was supposedly a demonic kind of a tone called the tritone. Maps and Legends, I really like Driver 8, down through the centuries, the classic. You could search my YouTube, I'm doing a campfire version of Driver 8. I think I do it pretty well. Life and How to Live It, don't love that, but Old Man Kinsey, oh, the feelings that, like that one, and Wendell G, and Good Advices, and Green Grow the Rushes, and Can't Get There From Here. Did that in a college band that I was in college. So if I could only have two REM albums, one of them would be this right here, Fables of the Reconstruction. A lot of great memories of that concert I saw in a small, beautiful theater in Santa Barbara, where I was going to school, called the Arlington on State Street there. And of course, my top favorite REM album, you probably might have guessed it by now, maybe not. It's called Life's Rich Pageant, which was a Peter Sellers movie, apparently. Well, it was from a Pink Panther movie Peter Sellers starred in, where that was a line that all part of life's rich pageant said. And it was produced by John Cougar's producer, Don Gaiman. And I remember so much looking forward to this. You know how much I love the first three. I had my Sony Walkman with the cassette, and I'm sitting on my front steps. And Begin the Begin, oh my gosh, the way this album starts out, Begin the Begin, then These Days, then Fall on Me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite band, and they're just coming through such big time with this album. And then you got I Believe, which I love, Swan Swan Hummingbird is on here, Flowers of Guatemala. There's still a few you could do without on here, including the song some people like. It's a cover tune that covers it, that closes the album rather, sung by bassist Mike Mills, called Superman. You know, I could do without Superman. But all in all, if I could only have one REM album, or I could only recommend one REM album, it's called Life's Rich Pageant, and there you have it. And I also do recommend, if you're a fan of the band, if you're a big fan, and if you're a reader, if you like to read, get this one right here. Have a blessed day. Stay peaceful. I'm Corey Leland, top of the hour. Thanks for listening.